Hi, Zizaran here with a video talking about Scourge going core or not. TGG have made a news post saying that Scourge is in fact not going core, not even future core. There was another league lately called Ultimatum, which did not go core initially, but they did say that they were going to work on the mechanic and have it go core in 3.17 this upcoming February league. However, Scourge, they're straight up saying, no, none of this is going core. It might go in the future. This is honestly devastating to me because that means that both my favorite leagues, Synthesis and Scourge, have not gone core. Thankfully, quite a lot of Synthesis went core, but not the things that I enjoyed the most. And honestly, I strictly do not think Path of Exile are very good when it comes to item mechanics or anything with crafting or rewarding that type of reward. I think they're extremely generous when it comes to currency rewards. Things that, especially at the high end, like, people getting 300 Scourge stacks, or, Heist min-maxed, or Legion, or other things, they're extremely generous. Maybe it's unintentional, but they're extremely generous on currency rewards, but they're extremely stingy on item rewards. So what I'm talking about now in particular is the Scourge item mechanic, when you could crangle items. That is extremely stingy, and honestly, that was what I was looking forward to the most in this entire league. The interaction with the league mechanic is insanely nice. It's so smooth. It's like Delirium. It's just something you run through, you click a button, and you're in the league mechanic, and you're still mapping. It's just like you're like making the map larger, really, because you get backtrack too, which ended up being really nice. Honestly, I was very against the backtracking in the start, but the best way to think about it is just making the map larger. Even though it feels like you have to re-walk an area, you're not really. So it was the best league mechanic we've ever had in terms of smoothness. It was like another one of the best leagues of all time is Beyond, which is just more density, right? It's what ARPGs are all about, killing more things, more density, more juice, just like killing things. So Beyond, just such a good league. Breach, such a good league. That's generally what I enjoy. The more things I can kill, the more XP I can get, the better. And Scourge had so much of that. So the interaction with the league was really, really good. The bosses were kind of cool, but all the drops of the bosses were shit, and as well as the crangling of items. Now the currencies were very well received. Obviously, people liked easily thinking items. I thought this was really cool too. I think this seemed like something they were moving towards, like very clearly, like, okay, well in PoE 2 we're not going to have 6 things, so we're going to experiment and see how it is when it's very easy, and how it's going to be with everybody volleying every item. And I thought that was really cool. I really enjoyed that. I love Valor. I honestly think they're probably the single best currency addition to the game. I think it adds so much to have a currency sink for like really min-maxing and being able to make fairly mediocre items, like the glove with like 80 life and double resist, into a cursed glove and making it a really important core part of your build. So Valorbs are amazing, and that's why I was so excited about the corruption of items through the Scourge mechanic. But it was insane. First off, the 3 times, well, the first 2 were kind of wasted, because you very rarely, if ever, would hit something good on the first 2, and then on the third one, you could hit something good. However, it was like 98% bad and 2% good, and sometimes the bad thing would be so debilitating that you couldn't use it. It very rarely ended up being that the bad thing would be, it was basically either it did nothing for your build or it was debilitating. It was very rarely like, oh yeah, this is bad for my build, but it's not that bad. That was, at least my experience, that was a very rare thing. It was either debilitating or did nothing. So that was very disappointing. I also feel like they just abandoned the league at some point, which is, again, devastating to me because I love it so much. It's just such a good league mechanic. It really is. So I hope they reconsider. I hope they... Well, if I was in charge of balance changes of Scourge, I would have definitely rebalanced like how easy it is to get downsides. Maybe given 1 or 2 more tries at Scourging. I would also have reduced the amount. I think when the league is live, it should be fairly easy, maybe even borderline OP, and you can balance it out more when it goes core into the game and you know what kind of effect it has. That's the perfect thing about challenge leagues. You get to experiment a little bit. People always bring up like, oh, well, look at Harvest. And nobody was really expecting Harvest to go live while it was a league. Everybody was like, well, yeah, this is clearly too OP, but we'll have fun with it while it lasts. The main outrage from Harvest ended up when they put it full core in Ritual and then later nerfed it, right? Because then that's like GGG saying like, no, it is actually okay for you guys to have this kind of power. So then nerfing it afterwards was obviously where most of the outrage came from. So I honestly feel like they should be very experimental with league mechanics while they are just temporary league, and I genuinely do not believe that will make that much outrage. I think a lot of people are, and feel free to comment if you feel this way, because I feel like it's pretty okay for a league mechanic to be a little over the top while it's here, and then get nerfed and be more balanced when going into the core game, because then we have other things to keep us busy anyway. So it's not as important if we can put it on the back burner a little bit. So yeah, very, very disappointed here, to be honest. It was just so enjoyable for me. The bosses as well should have been something that we would get similar excitement from Breach League, where, you know, you get really excited when you see a Chayula because you know it's like up to 10 splinters. Breach could have been a little bit more exciting with actually having a chance to drop their own items as well, or maybe even a small chance of a blessing. But I was hoping the bosses would either drop higher levels of uniques instead of just level uniques, and I would think it would be really cool if they are gonna drop shit items that maybe they had 2 or 3 upsides and no downsides, or maybe only 1 downside, so that you end up really looking forward to these bosses. You had no way of force spawning them, and they are pretty rare. So yeah, I honestly, I hope they reconsider. I think it was a masterpiece of a league. I'm just devastated that Metamorph and Heist is core and this isn't. I definitely understand why Heist is core. I mean, they put so much work into it, but I hope they would work a little more on it. Maybe Doris only on the way in or out, not both. Like the Deception Heist is pretty nice for that. Either way, really looking forward to 3.17. Kind of sad about Scourge, but at least we're getting Ultimatum Core in 3.17. But yeah, I just wanted to make a video talking about it. Let me know what you guys think. For me, this was a really enjoyable league. But yeah, thanks for watching. Sub if you liked the video, but more importantly, try to die less than I do.